Welcome to Relocating to Disney on a beautiful Florida afternoon, sitting out here by the pool. Many questions are about how much does it cost to actually move your stuff to Florida, and is it worth moving furniture? Should I use a truck? Should I use a pod? So I'm going to share with you the costs of what we just did. Now, we are going to have multiple moves coming down to Florida. We're going to use a combination of pods and moving trucks. And the move that we just did was with a 26-foot moving truck. Now for that truck, we had movers fill it, and then I drove it down, and we had movers unload it. So I'm going to share with you how much that moving truck cost, how much it cost to drive it down here, and how much the movers were. So as I go through these costs, hold on to your wallet because they're going to get expensive. I shopped around for different moving trucks and I ended up with a budget moving truck. They had the cheapest rate, but their insurance was higher than the others. Regardless, if you add the insurance plus the rate together, it still worked out to be cheaper than the others. And I also received a 20% discount because this was my first budget truck rental, so that helped out as well. The cost of the moving truck from Western New York down to Central Florida was $3,255. That includes a 20% discount that I received for being a new budget truck rental customer. So a breakdown of the costs. The actual truck rental was $2,621 after the discount. And then all of the insurance kicks in. And like I said, budget is a little more expensive than most when it comes to the insurance. And you want to make sure you get the insurance. Don't go cheap in this area because your auto insurance is not going to cover a moving truck. So the physical damage waiver was $144. The supplemental liability, $89.70. Personal accident and cargo, $51. The roadside safety net, so if you get broke down alongside the road, they'll come help you out, was $77.94. Then they had a cost recovery fee. I don't know what that was, but that was $21. The diesel exhaust fluid was $8.58. And then throw on some wonderful New York State sales tax, $241. And you add all that up and you get $3,254.86. So that was the cost of just the truck, just having the truck. 6 days. It was called unlimited miles. It was actually 10,000 miles, which is basically unlimited miles. And then to drive it down, it takes a lot of gas. So if you saw the videos of us driving down, you saw how many times we had to stop to fuel this thing. Total cost on the diesel fuel was $420. Now, when we drove down, we stopped twice, 2 nights, and stayed in hotels. And, you know, some people can drive straight through if they do 2 drivers, but most of these trucks, you only get 1 driver and you have to pay extra if you want a second one. Nevertheless, some people can drive these trucks for, 12, 14 hours a day, and they don't mind pulling into Florida late at night. Well, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to pull into Florida in the afternoon, so there would be time to settle things before it got too late. And that's why we stayed 2 nights on the way down. So the cost of the hotels, $276. I'm sorry. And then getting help to load the truck and then unload it. Now getting help to load the truck in Western New York wasn't all that expensive. But wow, was it expensive here in Florida. And I think it's just the high demand that they have of people moving down here needing their trucks unloaded. I did shop around. I probably should have shopped around a bit more because it was very expensive, like I said, for the help here in Florida. The total of the moving help with the tips was $624. So that puts us at a grand total of $4,575 to bring a 26-foot truck worth of whatever we wanted down here to Florida. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. You're weighing your options. Should I get a pod? Should I get a truck? Should I sell it all and just buy new furniture? Roughly $4,500, $4,600 to bring a 26-foot truck down. Now, a 26-foot truck should be big enough to bring down your entire house. In our case, we didn't stuff that truck full at all. It was not full from floor to ceiling, and it wasn't full from one end to the other end. We probably could have gotten away with a 16-foot truck and just kept a couple of things off the truck if it didn't fit. But I was glad to have the extra space because it allowed us to throw on some extra things onto the truck at the end to bring down. So probably a 26-foot truck is going to meet the needs of most people. So something you have to know about moving trucks, and again, I can't speak for pods because I haven't done that yet, and when I do a pod, I will talk about pods. But for moving trucks are filthy. They are not airtight, so as they're heading down the highway, they're kicking up a lot of dirt, and that dirt just gets sucked into the back of the truck and just swirls around inside the truck and coats everything you have with a nice little film of dust and dirt and grime. Now you probably saw as I was packing, I was wrapping everything in that plastic wrap. And you need to do that. You need to wrap with plastic wrap as if it were free. Just wrap the crap out of everything. And I'm so glad I did, because now that grime is on the plastic wrap that I'm going to cut off and throw away, and not on my possessions. The back of the truck was very dirty, and the back of the truck also leaked water. Another good reason why you want to wrap things in plastic. Now, the water leaked onto some plastic totes that we had. Not a big deal because plastic totes are waterproof. If it had leaked on something else, not a big deal because pretty much everything was wrapped in plastic. If it had leaked onto a cardboard box, good chance it might have ruined whatever was in that box. So keep that in mind. These trucks are not airtight, and they're not always very waterproof. Okay, as far as driving the truck myself, I would do it again. It was, fairly enjoyable. It was something I'd never done before, but there were a few negative parts of driving that truck. One is the suspension on those trucks are horrible. You feel every little bump and everything going down the road. You hit a bridge and you're bouncing, and you go off the bridge and you're bouncing, and you're, every hole, every pothole, you're continually just bouncing. It's like the truck has square wheels. That was a bit of an annoyance. Now, some trucks that you get will have something loose on it, and it'll just rattle the whole trip. That wasn't the case for us, thank God. We didn't have anything loose, but I could certainly see if there was something loose rattling, it would just be so annoying. So like I said, driving wasn't too bad. It did take a while for me to feel really comfortable with where I was on the road, and then it just became second nature. I was able to drive it around streets and construction and everywhere very comfortably. One downside to driving it around is when it comes to parking it. So you really can't back these trucks up. So you want to be super careful about how you pull into a parking lot. A lot of times I would just take and pull in sideways into a bunch of parking lots, take up 6, 7, 8 parking spots. But that way I was able to then pull back out and leave without having to back up. So finding those parking spots can be a challenge, and always thinking about if I come up to the gas station and I come up to this pump, after I fill it, how am I going to get back out of here? I'm gonna have to go out and around and come back. Is there going to be space? Is there going to be room? Am I going to be able to make that turn and come back around? So always thinking about those kinds of things when you're driving that truck is really important. So just to recap a couple of things, really important: get the insurance. Don't try to do this trip without it. Your car insurance isn't going to help you out. Your homeowner's insurance might cover some of your belongings. You can check with your homeowner's insurance to see if they will, or they might not. And you probably have a deductible on your homeowner's insurance. So if you break something, who knows if the homeowner's is even going to be worth it. So I recommend just get the truck insurance. It's expensive, yes, but plan on that. Next thing, these trucks are dirty and they leak, so wrap everything you have. Like, the trucks are going to smell. They're going to pass that odor onto your belongings, and you don't want that. So make sure you have everything wrapped up really, really good. Moving blankets and plastic wrap. Next thing, shop around, get your cheapest truck deal that you can find out there. The cheapest truck isn't necessarily the best truck, right? So these budget trucks, this one had 191,000 miles on it, and it had chips in the windshield, and it was cracked, and things were broken on it, and it just wasn't. It was a well-used truck. It was fine, but it was well used. Probably if I'd went to a different truck company, I might have gotten something that was a little better maintained. But for me, it wasn't a problem. The truck got me where I needed to go, and that's what was important to me. Next thing, I talked about the moving help and how expensive it was. And honestly, these guys doing these moves, they know what they're doing. They took that 26-foot truck, and again, it wasn't totally full, but they were able to unload it in an hour and a half. They just hustled. Again, they know how to carry stuff, they know how to lift stuff, they know how to move stuff. This is what they do, and they did an outstanding job. But you pay for that. You pay quite a bit. Now, if it was New York prices, I think New York I paid, $100, $150 before the tips. That's not so bad. The prices down here in Florida, that at least what I paid, was outrageous. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably reconsider and try to unload a lot of that stuff myself. Yeah, it would have taken longer. It would have been a pain in the butt, but it was fairly expensive. Okay, that covers everything I wanted to talk about with the moving truck. I hope this helps with your decision. Thank you for watching this video.